Well, thank you, Lenny. Good morning, everybody. Let's just keep it rolling. How about that? So it's a little early, but hey, why not? Great nuggets. Hey, the thing about the second half is you learn from the first, and then you look forward to the second. And so there's a lot of trade winds blowing, prospects maybe coming up. We're going to talk about that AAA All-Star game last night. I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but Urias for the Padres, isn't about time for him to come up now? You think? And guys, I tell you what, if you want to call in this morning to ask fantasy questions, just have a discussion. I'm game if you are. My number's on the in the chat room, 919. I'll put it up again, 919-922-9093. And we, not a lot of current baseball to talk about. No box scores from last night, but here you go. How about the Mets? And Lenny talked about some of these things. But the Mets, I was reading the New York Post this morning, some other New Jersey sites, and here you go. Syndergaard, Wheeler, teams are calling, interested in both of these pitchers. And will be trade partners for the Metropolitans? Let's talk about Syndergaard first, because I don't think the Mets are necessarily shopping Syndergaard, but I did read this morning that the Padres, they've called making an inquiry about getting him. Now, San Diego, they have a lot of minor league class grade A talent. Mackenzie Gore, for example, left-handed pitcher, just recently promoted from single A to double A. He's going to be up and coming. What they don't have in San Diego is someone who is an established star pitcher. And so now they're inquiring about Syndergaard. They've also inquired about Stroman. They've also inquired about Corey Kluber. Now, I had weeks ago talked about, and I have since then, that Trevor Bauer would be a great fit, I thought, a great trade piece for the Padres. They seem to have a overstocked wealth of outfielders in San Diego. They don't have that in Cleveland. Then I got to thinking, and you look at the standings, the two teams that we've talked about on the show the last few weeks that are just not going away, in fact, they're coming on strong, are the Tribe and the Washington Nationals. And so, in my mind, why would it make sense for Cleveland to trade Trevor Bauer? I mean, they've got Bieber, I know. Clevenger, sort of an iffy deal there, right? I mean, he's well, he's not well. And then you've got Kluber on the bench, injured, coming back sometime. And to me, Corey Kluber, from a Cleveland perspective, especially this year, this year, he's not been there hardly at all. When he was pitching early, he was awful. He certainly wasn't helping the cause towards getting a lot of wins. And what if you could trade Kluber to San Diego? Wow. The Padres are calling the Mets, though. Syndergaard, like I said, Kluber, Stroman. Wheeler, who's in on that deal? Well, you've got the Brewers, the Padres, the Astros. And I think the Astros are such an interesting team looking for that third ace type, 1 or 2 type starting pitcher to head into the playoffs. The American League is not a given for any team. Of course, the Astros, I think, are the favorite. I think they're the favorite for this reason. 2, Garrett Cole and Justin Verlander. Of course, Cole came out, I'm sure everybody he faces now in the second half, why did he say that? He comes out and says half the teams in the major leagues aren't trying. Okay, I'm paraphrasing. I got a feeling every time he takes the mound in the second half, there are going to be some teams trying against him. Hey, sometimes better to keep that mouth shut. But to go with Verlander and to go with Cole, no other team in the American League right now has that 1-2 punch. And if the Astros would come out and pick up a Syndergaard, a Wheeler, a Bumgarner, to add to what they have, I think they become quickly the prohibitive favorite, not only to win the American League, but to challenge the Dodgers, the Cubs, the Braves, and possibly be a favorite in the World Series. I mean, the Dodgers have Kershaw, they have Buehler, they have Ryu. They've got this great staff. What they don't have is the Osuna at the end of the bullpen that the Astros do have. And Astro bats, to me, are just as potent as any major league team, including the Dodgers, including the Yankees. Nobody is more potent than the Astros. And they're due a Carlos Correa back. The other day we talked about National League players, and I want to talk about some American League players this morning as we're talking about not only trades, but we're also talking about possible comeback players in the second half. And I want to say good morning to all the people in the chat room. Beach Bum, Beer Man, good morning. Easy Kill, George, Jay Gibbs, Jim Ross. Lenny is still with me. All right, that guy, Unholy Toledo. We got a guest, Alexis. I love the guests because you never know who they are. Right? It's like the mystery person of the day. So, guest Alexis and any other guests that may come into the chat room, register, get on board. There's a lot of great information, a lot of great discussion in this chat room. Okay? So, anyway, good morning to everybody. That guy, Unholy Toledo. It's great to see all of you. Demazens, Cam. I hope I haven't missed anybody, but good morning to everybody in the chat room this morning. The players that I'm looking at Houston right now, and if I look at their players, and I want to look at players who can rebound and produce, say, somewhat better than they did in the first half. And I think the discussion begins with Jose Altuve. And when you look at Altuve, which, he's hitting 262 at the All-Star break with 10 home runs, 25 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases. Now, I don't expect Altuve to steal a lot of bases. He's having some leg problems, lower half. But I do expect Altuve to hit more than 262 in the second half. The 10 home runs in the year of the ball that flies out of the park, he's going to hit 20, 25. What do you think? And if he comes on and ends the season at 25 or even more, I wouldn't be surprised. Another player for Houston, I don't think has had a great first half, although his power numbers are pretty good, is Alex Bregman. He's got 23 homers. I'll take that, but he's hitting 265. And in my opinion, Alex Bregman is a better than 265 hitter. So you look at those two. You also take into consideration that George Springer has missed a lot of time with injury. He's still hitting 303 with 18 home runs. Brantley has been a godsend. 324 average, 12 homers, 46 RBIs. Correa on the IL. He ran some last week, moving on to his next phase. He's taking grounders. He's throwing the ball. They're hoping to have him back by the end of this month. Before he went on the IL at 295 and 11 home runs. And, of course, there's the rookie Jordan Alvarez. And I've read some things, and the comparison is to a rookie year Aaron Judge. But with a higher batting average. Now, he can't field a lick. But the bat hits, and the bat hits really well. 342 average, 7 homers, 25 RBIs. Just before the break, he went 6 for 13. So Houston is in prime position. They've got young players down on the farm they can deal. Syndergaard, Wheeler, Bumgarner. Won't that be an interesting? Syndergaard just having an off year. 6-4, 17 starts, 4.68 ERA. The Dodgers, I'm reading last night and this morning, they're close to a deal for Will Smith with the Giants. Are you kidding me? That never happens. The Dodgers and Giants becoming friends to make a trade. Will Smith over 20 saves this year for the Giants. And if there is an Achilles heel in Los Angeles, it's the bullpen. Let's take a look at that Dodger bullpen. And again, as we started with Altuve talking about players that need to bounce back for their respective teams, the Dodgers, Kenley Jansen. Are these Kenley Jansen numbers? He's 3-2 with a 3.19 ERA. Just not throwing the ball as well as he has. Now, there have been a lot of bullets shot out of that pistol. He pitched since June 27th. He only pitched twice. He pitched on the 3rd of July, gave up an earned run, no strikeouts, and then he pitched on the 7th, just before the All-Star break. Will Smith, a lefty, could take a lot of heat off of Kenley Jansen. And Lenny mentioned it in the 9 o'clock show. Then there's Julio Urias, who I really like, who could start, who could close, who could be the effector. Probably looking at the second half, he's going to play more of that effector role in Los Angeles, much like Josh Hader did last year. His statistics at the break don't tell the whole story. He's 4-2, 3 saves, 53 strikeouts, a 2.45 ERA, an 0.95 whip. But I'm looking at his last 6 performances. Are you ready for this? 14 innings pitched for Urias. No earned runs. And 13 strikeouts. Only 4 hits. That's a small section of the season, I know. But it's where we are. And when you look at who some of these numbers came off of, give you the June 30th numbers. At Colorado. Now, last I checked, Colorado is not the pitching haven of the Major League Baseball universe. Yet, Julio Urias throws 3 effector innings in Colorado, only gives up 1 hit. As I said, he's given up no runs and struck out 4 Rockies. In those 6 games, another 3-inning outing against the Cubs. Not a bad bunch of hitters, right? Chris Bryant, Javi Baez, right-handed bats. Urias is a left-handed pitcher. He goes 3 innings against the Cubs, no earned. Only 1 hit. He's starting, and depending on your league, his classification, he's starting pitcher, relief pitcher. So you can move him around. And I look for the Dodgers to do just that. So if the Dodgers can land Will Smith from the Giants or some other bullpen piece, and Lenny did a great job of talking about bullpen candidates. I tell you a kid I love is Colomé on the White Sox. I like Colomé better than Green. And I think they both get traded. And don't you just know the White Sox and the Tigers are looking for young arms, young bats to take the place of a Colomé or a Green. The Dodgers have that. So I don't know if it's Will Smith and another arm going to L.A. But I tell you this, the Dodgers have such a great team this year, they're going to make a bullpen move. They don't need a starting pitcher. They've got 3 aces, Kershaw, Buehler, Ryu, for playoff purposes. They've got good middle relief. They got Baez. It's the closing it out part of the game that the Dodgers are looking at. And you bet your bottom dollar they're going to get somebody. Bumgarner this morning, while we're talking about trades, 4 teams who are hot on the trail of Madison Bumgarner. The Yankees have cooled interest. The Astros have not. The Twins, the Braves, the Brewers. And the Braves would be such an interesting match for Bumgarner, I think. First of all, he's from North Carolina. Yeah, there you go. He's a Tar Heel boy, just like me. And as you know, Atlanta, Georgia, not that far away from Carolina. So he'd be closer to home. Plus, there are tons of Braves fans in North Carolina. Okay? I'd say Yankees, Red Sox, Braves. Those are your top choices in this part of the world. So he'd be going home in a sense. And can you imagine a Bumgarner added to the rookie class